This is the bike. We have a leak here. Where is it? Behind that screw there. It's up underneath there, and I know I'm not going to be able to show you. But basically, I've had to take the fairing off, had to take my race rails off, and I drained the oil yesterday, so there's no oil. But we're going to be removing this water pump, and there are 3 bolts there. I think the 2 bolts there on the outside are the ones that we will be using to take it off. These turned out to be 8 millimeters, right? Yeah, these are 8 millimeter bolts here. One on this side here, and that's loose, and then one down in here, right there. I've already broke them free. I'm just hand doing it here so you can see what I'm doing. And then we'll see if we can pull this thing straight out. This thing does not want to move. I can feel it. It's certainly moving. It just doesn't want to come. There it goes. There it goes. And that is so filthy. It's disgusting. So now that I have that out. So this ring here, that is the O-ring, and I don't know what that one is. I'm not quite sure what that one is, but let's get this thing cleaned up. That is disgusting. Look at the crud. And then look in there. Look at all that. That is disgusting. So we're going to clean that off and make sure we don't get anything in there, and I'll show you what we got when we're done. Before I'm totally finished, I want to show you exactly what we're looking at in here. This is where the chain flings all of this. So there's the chain back there, and it's absolutely necessary to cover this hole, because look at all this crud that could get inside the engine. You do not want that. It's I wish I had more light, but it's completely gross. This is the stuff that has been coming out right here. Okay, I've got that area relatively clean. I'm not going to spray it down with anything. I'm not really worried about it because it's going to just get all the garbage from the chain flung in there again once I get this back together. If you want to look in the inside here, that is the part that you want to line up when you put it back in there. So you'll see the groove right here. Before you put that in there, you'll want to twist the pump to where it lines up. And now I'm going to clean that disgusting crap. Okay, you can't see this as good as I'd like you to, just because there's not enough light here, but I've already cleaned this quite a bit. There's still some crud on here that you can't see. There's a little bit you can. I'm going to spray WD-40 on it. I will not be using any carburetor cleaner or anything that contains acetone. Don't want to damage any rubber components. I don't want anything seeping inside there that's going to mess with that seal on the inside. So I'm going to spray that down and then clean it with this rag here. Just let it sit for a minute. I'm not too worried about this stuff. I use WD-40 to clean everything. I do want to reiterate, I did take my oil pan out. Oh look, we have some ducks walking by. Good morning, guys. So I took that oil pan out from underneath. I wasn't sure if anything else was going to come out of here when I took the pump off. Nothing did, but that's because I've already drained the oil out yesterday through the plug. So if you have not drained the oil out, then you definitely want to have an oil pan underneath there. I'm not leaking any radiator fluid, it seems. So hopefully for me it's just the O-ring and not an oil seal problem on the inside. Alright, got it a little cleaner here before I do whatever it is I'm going to do here. I want to point out to you something I heard about on the bottom of this, and that's that little hole right there. This hole is called the weep hole, and if either your coolant is leaking from the pump or your oil is leaking from the engine or something, it's designed to basically make sure those two don't mix, and if you have a leak it has somewhere to go. Alright, I've moved this over here in the light. I have had to break these two bolts or screws here with these pair of vice grips. Just put them on there real tight and just you know, make sure it's very tight. And then it actually sounded like a snap when I did it, but they're loose now. So I'm going to try and take this thing apart with only those two bolts removed, and we'll see what we got to do here. As you can tell very easily. Once you get that, there's no thread lock on these. They just come right out. And now there's an impeller in here, obviously, so tell you what, let's see. This thing just totally came sideways. And there's the gasket right there. And here's the impeller. Okay, so this bolt's in here in the middle, right here. This is 10 millimeter. So I'm going to put this 10 millimeter on here. And then because this is slotted on the shaft here, you use a screwdriver to hold it. But I'm going to rotate it to where I can leave it down flat here. Now I've already broken this, but I have to tell you it was very, very easy. So I just put that on there and start turning, and boom, it came off. It's very, very easy to come off. So I'm just going to do the rest by hand. And as you can see, there's a washer on there, like that. Let's see what else we got here. I went ahead and I pulled the shaft out, which I have to tell you was a real pain in the ass. How I did it was, okay, so here's the shaft. That was in this way, and that goes in here. And so all I really did was I put the pump in between my legs and lined this up just like that. And I very slowly tapped it with a hammer. You can see here, let me see if I can get you some better view here. There are a few, it's not in perfect shape, you can tell it's been beat up just a hair. And then the screwdriver went a little too far in there, so it's not perfect. Okay, I have discovered the secret. I was pounding on this for quite a while, trying to get this inner seal out, and I got the new part. Here's the trick. This is totally the trick. Okay, I sat here, this went in here like this, and it had the little metal cylinder in the middle. It came out. I broke that off, and then I just could not get this fucking thing out. So the magic trick is to apply heat. You can see that blackness there. That was me with a lighter. And I turned it upside down, and I put this, well, I put a screwdriver down into the larger side. Here's the side that's got the opening, and you're angling it towards that opening. Be very careful not to scratch the inside as you pull down. That's my fault for being a dumbass. What I should have done was just apply a shit ton of heat to begin with and then hammer that thing out, but I didn't. So now I have that gouge there that hopefully is not going to interfere with me putting in the new seal. But I have to wait a fucking week for those parts to even get here, so let me show you The new part. I'm returning this, so I'm not going to take this out. But this is the part that presses down in there. I just put some water in this to warm this up so that this gasket would actually fit down in here better. Now, this is very important. If you have your pump part with you, take it with you when you go to buy the part so that you can fit it, because even though this part came from the internet and it was the wrong part, this one here, as you can see, just fits right down in there, and it goes all the way in there and didn't need to be pressed in. Hello. This is really hard. So I even went down to the Suzuki dealer, had them pull up the part number for a 2006 GSXR 600, and I fit it in there, and it's the same exact one that came in the mail. So I have read on the forums that some people replaced the water or the oil seal and it didn't help them, and I have a feeling that that might be the reason. Maybe they didn't realize it was supposed to be press fitted in there, and they're like, okay, well, this is the part, this is what they said the part should be, so just taking them at their word. And it didn't fit, it didn't work, because ultimately it never plugged beyond these two little holes here. And of course then it's going to sink out, and oil's going to be coming out of that weep hole there. So anyways, I would like to get this hotter, but I have it pretty warm right now from the sink, and I'm going to press fit the new one in there, and you can see how this new one fits. That one doesn't go all the way in perfectly. This one can be pushed in. I'm going to try it with my hands real quick. And it is going. And it's tough. But that is going to actually do the job. I can tell. This is nice. And I'm putting it in with the spring side facing this side. You see how this is open here? And there's a spring that compresses this part around the shaft, that spring there. I'm putting that facing this way, because that is the way it came out of this pump. This does not come with any installation instructions. I would not be installing it this way. So it's going to go in there like this. I'm horrible at this. Focus, bitch. Okay. So as you can see, it is in there just like that. And it's not in there all the way, so I do have my socket. This is a 9/16. It is going to fit, and I'm just going to press it in there even harder, like that. This seems to fit perfectly. Alright, so now what is left to do, actually, if I can get my other parts, is to put the mechanical seal in. Now this blue stuff on the side here is going to press down into here, just like that. I don't have anything to push it down in there with, and that blue stuff is like some sort of an adhesive. So I guess I'm just going to very carefully try and tap that in there. I'm not sure exactly what I'm going to do. I would like to have had this whole part heated up. I mean, obviously, it's going to be connected to an engine that's running 200 degrees. So I think what I'm going to do is throw this in the oven for a bit at 200 degrees. Obviously, when you pull it out, handle with care. And we'll see if it just slides in there a little better, because that blue adhesive is softened up. Because that's how I got it out. I had to put tremendous heat. Well, not tremendous heat, but some heat from a lighter on it to get it to come out. So let's try heat to get it to go in, and that would be wonderful if it works. Thing this thing appears to be, you know what? I'll tell you what. I'm going to not do that. Because there's a seal underneath here, okay? If you notice this part here, actually, there's no rubber gasket on the bottom of this that covers, like, right here. And on the bottom of this, if you look inside there, you can see there's some rubber coming out of the bottom there. I don't want to risk messing this up to take it out, because it might not, I don't know if this rubber on the bottom here is in one whole chunk with this or not. So X-nay on taking this thing out. The top of it looks the same, but the bottom of it doesn't. So we'll just fast forward to the mechanical seal install. Alright, the part has been in the oven now for maybe 10 minutes. It's not super hot, but you don't want to hold it. So I've got this wrench here, which as you can see is just about the right size. And I'm going to tap on it and see if that wants to help it go down in there at all. I mean, yeah, seems like one of the sides is going down in there. Might be. Maybe it's my imagination. Oh, and it is actually going down in there. So that's good. It's going down. It is definitely flush. So now the only thing left to do here is to take this and run the shaft back through there very carefully. And now I'm feeling the oil seal. The resistance, I just got past that. And I will be coming through here very quickly. You want to keep wiggling it just a little bit, give it a little friction. So that is on there. And I can feel the resistance from the oil seal pulling on that. So now the next thing for us to do, get these lights out of my way. Let's see, focus better, buddy. So the next thing for us to do is to take this impeller, line it up very gently, and slip that on there. Get on there. Oh, I'm pushing the damn seal. Okay. Be careful. Hold the back of your shaft so that you're not pushing that out. And that's what I was just doing. So we'll line that up. Yep, perfectly. And I cleaned the shaft and the inside of this thing. There we go. So now we'll take our screw here and we'll put that on. Just squish it down there. Wish I had some better light for you guys. I'm so sorry. Gonna get that started now. This is a 10 millimeter, I believe. And I'm gonna hold this shaft here with the screwdriver once again, the same opposite way of how we got it off. Put the screwdriver in there. And holding that, just gonna spin this so that basically stays still. Now I'm not gonna torque it too tight because it really wasn't torqued that hard to get it off there. The fact that this is rubber keeps this compressed pretty good, so it shouldn't come off there. I have no idea what kind of torque specs we're looking at here. Now, the only thing left to do is to get our other half here, put our seal back in, and put this thing back together. But what I'm going to do, just in case, just because I'm a little bit weary, because you see, this really does not stick up very far at all. It's pretty much flush. It's very, very little, and it went on there just fine. It'll probably be okay, but I feel like I want to put some gasket material on here maybe, so I'm going to do that real quick. And here we go. Not the most beautiful job, but it's on there. And so we've got the impeller tightened down nice and tight. There's obvious resistance. It's on there pretty damn tight, which is good. And it doesn't feel like it's trying to move at all. It feels nice and tight, which is that's what I want. It feels tighter than it was. God, I just keep fucking repeating myself. This is pretty dumb. Hopefully we're good. So now I think that's it. We're gonna line this up and put it back together. I believe this is how it goes, right? Let me see here. Put my screws back in. This should not be too hard. That one there. And this one over here. Okay, so now let me get my screwdriver to tighten that in there. Oh, I should be more prepared than this, I'm sorry. It's a fine-tuned tuning here on the focusing. So make sure that's lined up as good as I can get it. Come back to this side here. Make sure everything's lined up. Tighten it up. And I'm just gonna get it on there pretty good. You can see everything is squeezing out. That's exactly what we want. That's a good sign. There we go. It's coming out on my dish rag. No. I'm going to clean this up real quick with a paper towel. And then we'll take it out to the bike and see what we can do. See if it solves the problem. Okay, I have the pump installed again. And I've got my oil catch bucket underneath. Just in case it starts leaking oil, I'm going to go ahead and put oil in it. For me, the fluid that came out of my radiator was just gross. And it had some flakes and shit in it. So I went ahead and flushed that out. I'm going to be flushing that out till it's crystal clear. And then refilling it with fresh fluid. Always dispose of that stuff where you need to. Don't throw it on the ground or put it down the drain. It's very harmful to the water table and to animals. So let's get some oil in this thing and see what happens. Alright, well, I have oil in there now, and there are no leaks. So, because there are no leaks, I'm going to start it, and we'll see if she holds. Now, I don't have any radiator fluid in here yet, so I gotta do my flush, and then I'll start it, and we'll see what happens. Now, here we are started. And no leaks yet. We have no temp yet. So I'll let her run for a bit and we'll see what happens. Still no leaks at 135. Smoke is from water dripping onto the pipes. I think we got the problem solved, guys.